In 1991, I had little hope of finding a cure for my arthritic condition. Simple things like getting out of a car, walking, and climbing stairs became very challenging. This video was taken because Frank Ludde guaranteed that my condition could be healed and that I could return to a normal life, an idea that seemed far-fetched to me at the time.
Yeah.
This video, taken 20 years later, is a testament to the power of metabolic therapy and the promise that Frank made to me that came true. Every time I see the previous video, it always puts a bit of a shock into me. And it makes me very grateful for the health I have today and for having been free of arthritis for the last 20 years. And the man I have to thank for that is Frank Ludde. And it was 20 years ago that I showed up at his door, and he explained to me in about 45 minutes what metabolic therapy was all about. In this next video clip, Frank, in his own words, is going to explain his theories and how it is that he is able to affect so many people with so many various disease conditions. At the time of this video, Frank was dealing with a lot of resistance from the medical community about his work. This caused him to come across quite forcefully and sometimes defensively in getting his message across. However, the Frank I knew was extremely warm and generous with his time and knowledge.
Metabolic therapy, my protocol, is based on 100% science, on 100% biological facts. It is based on the knowledge, not the speculation, the distinct knowledge that the body can and will repair itself, provided it is given all the natural nutritional ingredients it needs, and provided it is enabled to absorb, assimilate, and synthesize these ingredients. In order to affect any healing process at all, one has to give strength and balance in the limbic system. The injections, which I call SL, the secret of life, affect this. The first shot and the body starts to function. Limbic means fringe or border. The limbic system borders the three most important glands: the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus, which you've seen before, the body's chief, the body's boss, the body's command center, the actual command center, controls temperature, fear, activity, sleep, sexuality, hunger. It controls all these areas in the sequence as I'm giving them. It controls the autonomic nervous system, which via the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve strands innervate all organs. It controls the endocrine system, which is the production and exchange of all hormones, and it controls the somatic system. The moment a person is diseased, meaning not 100% healthy, the hypothalamus reduces some areas of its first command. In most cases, it either reduces or cuts out sexuality altogether because it is not needed for survival. The B vitamins are so important, and if you are below a certain amount of health or at a certain level of disease, they have to be injected. Because that's very important, because there's a point where the body loses the ability to convert them or assimilate and synthesize them. Okay? So the surest way is to inject them. After a while, you'll be able to synthesize, assimilate, and synthesize the other B vitamins, all B vitamins from orally, except B12. Or don't let anybody con you or anybody tell you B12 has to be injected. It does not work nasally, it does not work sublingually. It has to be injected intramuscularly into the blood. Protein is the most important ingredient for the development and growth of all body tissues, the whole body, blood, skin, hair, nails, muscles, all organs, the brain, everything. Protein is the major source of building material for all body tissues. Protein balances the pH, the environment we live in, and protein controls the water content in the body. So it's all about protein and protein synthesis. But here is the important part. If just one of these 8 essential amino acids is out of pattern or not in the proper sequence, or if it is low or missing, then all amino acids will go down to the level of the low or missing one, and protein synthesis will either be very low or will stop altogether. So we detoxify people, and then we rebuild them one step at a time. Okay? I want to show you what rebuilding means. That's Wally. That was 1991. I still have the shock in my bones when he stood at my door for the first time to come and see me. He looked like 84 years old. Ankylosing spondylitis, rheumatoid arthritis in every joint but his hands, even rhinitis in his eyes. This man could not stand for more than 3 minutes. He had pain like nobody could imagine. He couldn't move his neck. This is as much as he could move. He had to move his whole body. This was pain, and I had never done it before. I decided like on a drafting board. I see it. I said it has to work. His knees were so hot it was not a joke. You could have fried eggs on it. They were locked. Behind the knees, the tendons, they felt like steel ropes. I have them fortunately on 8mm film. It's incredible when you see it. Let's see the next one, Julian. It's a full top athlete today. And this picture does not lie. I wished I would be in as good shape as he is. One step at a time. It took 8 months to throw the cane away.
I'd like to add a few more words in regard to the video you just saw on Frank about my own condition. I was very grateful for having met Frank and for what he did for me, for my body. At that time I was very ill. I was stooped over with ankylosing spondylitis. That was a fusing of the back, as well as rheumatoid arthritis that I had in nearly every other joint. My hands were spared, which was very fortunate. My toes were all gnarled up. My knees got to be the size of softballs at one point. I had no life at that time, or no hope for any future. But in 4 months, Frank gave me all that back. He gave me a life again. The process I went through, as I say, lasted 4 months. I started out basically with 1 week's treatment. I was going to go for 2 weeks. I was a little leery of what he was doing. I thought I'd give it a couple weeks, but then after a week I went into a huge detoxification. He said that that's going to be lasting maybe a month for you, which it did. I went into a very deep state of detoxification. I was sweating at night. I was sleeping 15 hours sometimes a day. Plus I had 2 colds, and he said, you now have the strength in your body to be able to have a cold. I was quite emaciated when I came there. I was probably weighed about 110 pounds. I remember Frank saying to me after I told him that I felt so dense and heavy for being so light, he said, oh yeah, he said, well, to feel light, you got to eat heavy. And that was very true, as it turned out. His program was about protein, the assimilation of protein, and synthesis of protein beyond just eating it. Basically, he gave you vitamin injections. They were a B12 shot. B6 was in there as well, B5 sometimes, B complex. And that was given 5 days a week. You took a break on the weekends. During the day, you take a lot of vitamins and minerals. I look at them as just food that maybe is missing from your own diet. And then he provided the chicken soup made with the chicken bones. He used the feet. Finally, in the end, he said they had more nutrient in them. So I went along with this. I didn't have anything else, really. And so for that month of detox, I just kind of wrote it out. And then after that, it took a couple more months. Well, it took about 4 months until there was no heat in my knees anymore. And that was a very magical day. I remember getting a blood test. It's called a sedimentation rate test, and that test for inflammation. My result was 7 on that day. And I was up to 80, which is very inflamed. So I knew the disease was gone. I've been arthritic free for 20 years. It's almost coming up to the exact date of 20 years that I was healed. And so I'm very grateful to be here to provide you with a format for yourself for judging this therapy. I'm just writing a book now. It's coming out, well, it should be out by now. It's as an ebook. It's called Red Toe, Red Door, How Metabolic Therapy Cured My Arthritis. In the book, I outline my story. That's the first third of the book, and then the next part of the book is how-to manual on how to do it yourself. And so I hope to empower people to do their own therapy. If they can't come to me and get some advice or come to the clinic. I'm starting a clinic now to practice metabolic therapy, and I'm very grateful for having been healed by Frank and to have met him. I feel very fortunate, and I'm grateful that you are able to watch this video, and I thank you very much for your time.